Good evening.
Good evening.
So I'm going to preface what I'm about to say with this. I've really enjoyed watching the Rings of Akhaten.
I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, I really enjoyed watching it tonight, and I think fan consensus has always been fairly down on it, as with all of these episodes. And actually, it's fair to say, all of the episodes for some time to come. I have very little clear memory of it, and as a result, I didn't quite know what to expect. But then again, there's a joy in that, isn't there? Because one always forgets some of the nuances of the Doctor's character and things like that. So I was all ready for a fun Matt Smith time, but I was really pleasantly surprised by this story. And if I'm very quickly to go through what I found joyous about it, Matt Smith's performance I thought was absolutely wonderful because he's just a class Doctor. I think, and Sandifer has said this, you can almost sense that Matt Smith's aware that he's in the end game of his Doctor. Like the whole arc of the pond arc has almost been the sort of emotional progression, the development of the character. And now we've just got a little thorny mystery to unpick before big things happen. But of course, that's not all we know at the moment. All we know at the moment is that he's met this new kick-ass companion. And genuinely, that's the other wonderful thing about this story. I have to say that the companion's first trip in the TARDIS story is a trope now of the new season, of the new iteration of Doctor Who. Where do you want to go? And I like the notion of, I just want to go somewhere awesome.
I thought that was lame.
Lame?
Yeah.
What, I want to go somewhere awesome?
Yeah.
Fair enough. But it's quite telling that, that we do this type of story every time now. But with a twist on this one, which I'll talk about in just a second.
When you say we do that every time now, what did it used to be?
Well, I can't really remember. Like, back in Classic Who, they never made such a big deal about the companion's second story. The companion's second story, by that point, for the most part, was just, and I'm now the companion of the Doctor. But in New Who, ever since End of the World, it's been a big deal. And there we have it. So I really enjoyed the story. I had a great time. And I think if its central idea is to provide a platform for Clara, so we get to meet Clara and see who she is and how she works, and also just keep the slow burn of this Impossible Girl story going, then it worked magnificently well. That being said, it's utterly littered with flaws, and objectively speaking, it's a poor Doctor Who story. Now, that's okay, because honestly, I think it buys itself the license to be a poor Doctor Who story. And the reason for that is, and this is going to be so bizarre, having just said it's basically the standard second story for a companion. This is the most Hartnell feeling that I think Doctor Who's been for absolutely ages. Now, how intentional that was, I don't know, but of course we do get mention of a granddaughter. That wasn't, that gets dropped in more so than mentions of, I used to travel around with a savage who had a blowpipe and put thorns in people, for obvious reasons. But it felt particularly pointed in this story. There was just something about landing in this market and us expecting, as an audience, alongside Clara, to be wowed by that. Oh my gosh, it's so crazy, look at these alien people, and this culture is so different. And it felt really Sensorite-y, it felt really, I don't know, Hartnell historical. What?
Sensorite.
Thank you. And that's okay. The downside is that I'm not wowed by it, because I think we've reached a really fallow period of Doctor Who special effects. Like the aliens occasionally, and this is fine, but I can see the eyes of the actors behind the costume. Now that's. Yeah, there was one moment. It honestly just looked. It was like a mask to me.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
And that's fine. You know what I mean? I never criticise Doctor Who for things like that. But I think the CGI is particularly poor at the moment. The bits on the moped don't really work for me as a visual effect. Fine, I'm not. This is not something that particularly bothers me. Like I said, I've enjoyed this story. Having said that, let's criticise it some more. I found the pacing of this story really, really weird. Like, really, really weird. Like, we have that lovely sequence with Clara and the girl. And it's weird, and this will come back to haunt us, how that's a very much a getting to know the Doctor trick, isn't it? Pairing the Doctor off with a child. Having said that, I think Moffat did that with Amy Pond in The Beast Below. Anyway, by the way. But after that sequence, which worked very well for me and gave Clara a chance to shine, there's a really weird edit where the girl ends up at the sort of stadium thing, and then the Doctor and Clara run in, as if there was some dialogue that's been missed. It felt a really odd juxtaposition. That I found that funny. Then the ending, like, I thought the Doctor had sorted it all out, and then no, Clara had to come back on the poorly rendered CGI moped, and then she sorted it all out. And I don't really think this story really settled on what it wanted to be, in so much as it, anything other than it being a second companion story. Because the premise that the potential of the future is more powerful than the stories of the past. Now I think that's a really interesting notion. That's something you can play with, but it just kind of got swallowed up in this odd sort of, the vampire sucking memories, ancient. I felt this story was either a rewrite too far or not a rewrite enough. But again, I wasn't bothered. I just genuinely enjoyed watching Doctor Who tonight. I really enjoy where the Doctor's arrived at. I like his reinvigoration because of this mystery of Clara. I really like Clara. I really, really, really like Clara. I think she's just so sparky and feisty and fun. And the essential gap in our knowledge of her past, that's how long that's going to have the power to sort of propel our enjoyment of this character without something else to back it up, because we're now used to having family and this, that and the other. And yes, we've seen a dad, and yes, we've seen this weird governess situation, but it feels very secondary to the mystery of Clara. But anyway, by the by, for all the flaws of this story, I absolutely really had a lovely time watching it. Whole family seemed to enjoy it. Let me pass over to my colleague. Elizabeth, did you like the Rings of Akhaten?
I didn't think it was a very good story, but I did enjoy it.
Yeah, same deal.
I don't tend to enjoy stories that have children in that much either. Right. They're just really annoying. They are there. They're like, oh, like she's some sort of queenie, really important thing.
Yeah.
She's running away and she's so scared. And then those stupid stories that Clara was telling her about her mum. I know you'd think they're sensitive and nice. I thought they were trite and shy.
I just think...
And then she gave up her mum's ring pretty easily. Like, fuck off, Doctor, give up your bow tie or something.
Yeah, you've always got something in your pockets.
You've always got something
you've always got something with a story attached.
She had to give up her ring.
Yeah.
After telling
That's a bit mean. Bit of a push. A bit of a...
But yeah, apart from that, I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, isn't it interesting how... As flawed... I could feel the joins as we were watching it. I could feel the sort of...
to quote Anton Tibek, oh, I liked it. Hey.
All right, if we do a Strictly Come Dancing analogy, it's like when you can see all the planned bits, but like you can also see the bits where they just basically walk from spot to spot. That's what it felt like. Yeah. But that's fine. I enjoyed it. It was good. And I feel that we're on for a pleasant run of Doctor Who leading up to something massive, and it's going to be awesome. And there we go. Oh, couldn't possibly say. I don't know. I've only got this far in the story of the Doctor. Good times. Bye-bye.